Your patience is rewarded.
A religious sect was founded by Torok the Dark One in Sarpadia on the plane of Dominaria. Torok worshipped a being known as the EBON Praetor, establishing a new empire. The new religion would also eventually worship Torok himself after his death, revering him as a god. This is the exploration of the Order of the Ebon Hand. The Order was one of few places on Sarpadia that welcomed humans and non-humans in the same place. The Order of the Ebon Hand spent a majority of time at war with Acadia, specifically with the Order of Leitbur during the Fallen Empire's era. Much of the origin of the Ebon Hand is forgotten, but many speculate the Order originated from a cult that worshipped Gix. Members would sever one of their hands, likely in tribute to the Hand of Gix. A prominent wizard of the Order, Endric Sar, created the creatures known as thralls to serve the Order as slaves and to be used in ritual sacrifice. The monstrosities created with necromancy and alchemy would prove to be invaluable, ultimately used as expendable soldiers, ritual assistants, and a replacement source for armor after the Dwarven Empire's supplies had been depleted. Endric's final creation was known as the Durellor, an extremely unique and powerful equine breed of thrall. The Durellor required a constant supply of black mana to sustain, taxing the Order's resources. The leaders of the Order of the Ebon Hand deemed this creation as Endric's greatest failure, sentencing him to be executed. A priestess of the Order, Valesh, captured Timoloin Longglade in order to lure Oliver Farrell to them so that they could ambush the opposing cult's army. Both the Order of the Ebon Hand and the Farrellite cult had a greater unknown threat approaching. Oliver gave an ultimatum to Timolin to rejoin him as a lover. When she refused, he stabbed her to death. Timolin's brother, Tev, appeared as the newly transformed Tevesh Zot. Furious at his sister's murder, he incinerated everyone present with a giant fireball. Without Endric present to supervise the breeding of the thralls, they began to breed at a terrifying pace, and in the end, they overwhelmed the remaining members of the Order of the Ebon Hand, annihilating the group. Endric had bred the species to become more intelligent and stronger. The species would rule the whole of Sarpadia, continuing to evolve, and becoming so powerful that they were capable of repelling Phyrexian invaders on their own. Some thralls existed on the plane of Phyrexia. It is theorized that Yawgmoth's occultists were aware of the Order's breeding process, stealing it for their own demented creations after Endric ironically had stolen Phyrexian devices to create his own breeding methods for thralls. Jirana Rur would attempt a military resistance against the newly overpowered thralls, but Necorites were able to assassinate Jirana, cementing their dominance of the continent, and nothing further was heard about the Order of the Ebon Hand, apart from the fact that Belzenlach claimed to be its master. Thousands of years after his execution, Endric Sar was among many of those granted a second chance at life, thanks to the ravaging rifts in time in Dominaria's post-apocalypse era. Endric would bear witness to the grisly remains of Sarpadia and the ruins his thralls wrought, returning to the original timeline with the Great Mending. Rarely do we get glimpses into the creation of an entire species in Magic the Gathering. The Order of the Ebon Hand is a fascinating, lesser-known cult with a high impact on Magic the Gathering lore. This has been the exploration of the Order of the Ebon Hand.